Thanks for hopping on and for joining Gems for the Journey. I'm so glad you are here. Come on in the room, take your shoes off. You know how I like to do it. There's some milk, coffee, orange juice, cappuccino, eggs, bacon, all that good stuff is over in the next room. Walk on over, grab yourself a plate, get yourself something to drink, and I'll be right here waiting for you. I hope you're doing exceptionally well this morning. This is a magnificent, marvelous Monday morning. Oh, yes, it is. It is a magnificent, marvelous Monday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We want to rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, I know you love your spouse, you love your children, your co-worker, your baby's daddy, your boo. You love your sorority sisters, you love your friends at church, you love your neighbors, you love the CEO, you love the COO, you love the district manager, the floor manager, the principal, the assistant principal. You love all those people with titles. Honey, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. They do have power, but they don't have the power to make a day. Only God. Only God can make a magnificent, marvelous Monday morning. He's God all by himself. He does not need our help. So you can go ahead and take your hands off the wheel. Oh, yes, you can. They laughed at your crucifixion. I want to know, what are they going to do about your resurrection? Because you are going to get back up again. Oh, yes, you are. You are not going to stay in that spot always. I'm grateful this morning. I'm grateful for the train that didn't derail, the boat that didn't sink, and the plane that did not crash. When you and I were asleep last night, dead to this world, didn't know what was going on, God sent an angel. Oh, yes, he did. He said, go by her bedside and wake her up. She's on an assignment today. I want to ask God to bless, honor, and favor you just like he did Jabez. I appreciate you being here. We're alive and in color this morning. If this is your first time, please don't let it be your last time. If you happen to stop by later during the day, just type in replay in the comment bar, and that'll let me know that you were here. I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting. I do go back throughout the day and read all of your comments. You encourage me, and I hope I encourage you. Iron sharpens iron. I want you to keep asking, knocking, and seeking. God does not get tired of you. You are his child. If you get any bad news today on this magnificent, marvelous Monday morning, I want you to click return to sender. Send it back where it came from. We're not having that. I want you to serve notice to everybody that you come in contact with that we serve an awesome God. Oh, yes, we do. And you and I can declare that there's nobody like him. Thank him for the victories, both great and small. I don't care what they're yours. I don't care what anybody else says. They're yours. They are your victories. And nobody can discount what God has done for you. Yeah, I don't care if it's a spiritual blessing, a material blessing. It's by way of your gifts. God gave it to you, and nobody can discount that. Yes, indeed. I want to ask God to do what I always ask him to do on every call, to help somebody, heal somebody, deliver somebody, restore somebody, reposition somebody, change somebody's mind, turn somebody's life around, give somebody another chance. Sometimes that's all we need. That's all we need, is for God to come through and give us another chance. And he's good at that. Now, you and I, we struggle with that. We struggle with grace, but God is good at giving other people another chance. Yeah, I know he's done it for me, and he's no respecter of persons. And if he'll do it for me, he'll do it for you too. Yes, indeed. He said, how many times should I forgive my brother? 7 times, 7 times 7. You can't even count it. He says, just keep on forgiving. Just keep on forgiving, and I'll keep on administering grace. You all are here this morning. Let me go ahead and acknowledge you. Sister Penny Rouse says good morning. Good morning to you, my love. Ethel Barnett says good morning, sisters. Good morning, Ethel. Sherry Umana says good morning. Good morning to you. Sylvia Brown says good morning, sisters. Good morning, Sylvia. So glad you made it back safely. Jennifer Catchin says good morning, beautiful people. Yvette Marie Fuller says good morning. Have a blessed day. Tara Jenkins, oh, my childhood neighbor. I used to ride to high school with Tara in her car. Yes, indeed. Tara Jenkins says, good morning. Good morning to you, Tara. Anita Evans is here. She says, good morning. Giovanna Russell says, good morning. Happy Monday. And Marjorie Malone says, good morning. I'm so glad you all are here. So many beautiful, beautiful things happened this weekend. I know there was the TWIC conference. It hails out of the Dallas Metroplex area. My good friend and sister in Christ, Carol Hamilton, kind of takes the helm of that project. It's a beautiful conference that takes place every year. And I'm told that you all had a marvelous, marvelous time. So congratulations to Carol Hamilton, her team, all the women that were present, and I pray that you were moved by that event. It's a beautiful event. And then Sister Ira Booker, she's not online, but I saw that she was down in Louisiana at the Russell Road Church of Christ with those good old folk, the Dansbys. So I know that that was a wonderful fellowship and reunion. So I'm glad that Sister Dansby is doing better, and glad that Sister Ira Booker was able to fellowship. And then I see Sylvia Brown here, who was in Louisiana also this weekend in a different part for another women's conference that was spearheaded by Sister Cobbs and her team. And I'm hearing that they had a marvelous job. They worshiped at the Mill Street Church of Christ in Lake Charles. And Sylvia was telling me about the conference last night, what a spirit-filled time they had. And she says, Joey, you're going to have to hear this lady. She's just amazing. I said, what's her name? She said, Matilda Gibbons. I said, did she kick her shoes off? She said, girl, yes. So I know Sister Matilda. She is a powerhouse. I mean, on fire for the Lord, and she will kick those shoes off and let you have the word. So women from all over were just having a good time in the Lord this weekend, and I am so glad for that. So glad. Allison Barrow Traversal says, good morning, marvelous Monday. Sophia Crawford Lewis says, good morning, everyone. We don't like the term protester. We normally think politics, or we think hate, rage, violence, and vengeance. But protesting is the antithesis of being apathetic, complicit, calloused, and passive. And Christians should take comfort in the fact that Jesus, the Son of God, was very, very good at that. Bridget King Fitzgerald says, good morning, my sisters. Terry Esco says, good, magnificent Monday morning. Good morning to you, Terry. Within the Christian life, there may be times when God calls us to complement our prayer with protesting. And throughout the Bible, we see how Jesus purposefully intervened. He acted, he spoke out, and was present in various situations in order to protest, to demonstrate, to object, to question, to defend, to revolt, and to challenge. When Jesus spent 40 days and nights in the wilderness, according to Matthew 4, verses 1 through 11, he rejected the temptation of worldly power and boldly stood against Satan's temptations, because Jesus was indeed a protester. When Jesus stormed into the temple courts, interrupted the proceedings by overturning tables, yelling and driving both people and animals out of the room using a whip, he was condemning the greed and corruption of religious hypocrites, because Jesus was a protester, according to John 2:13 through 35. Jesus boldly stood up and spoke in the synagogue, one of many he would speak in, proclaiming things so countercultural and radical that he created a mob so furious at him that eventually they chased him with the intentions of killing him, because Jesus was a protester, according to Luke 4, verses 13 through 16. Chris Carnett is here. She says, good morning, my sisters. DeQuindra says, good morning. And Linda Caregiving says, good morning, everyone. Jesus took his message to the masses, speaking and advocating wherever he could, and created a movement based on justice, hope, and love, because Jesus was a protester, according to Matthew 4:23 through 25. Jesus garnered fame from the oppressed and notoriety from those in power, because Jesus didn't mind protesting, according to Luke 5:15. Jesus confronted the leaders about their wrong practices, evil thoughts, and destructive deeds, because Jesus was a protester, according to Mark 2:1 through 12, and according to Luke chapter 11. Jesus asked people to follow him and join his cause, because he was indeed a protester. Jesus broke the religious expectations and laws of the day, to the point of people wanted him to die, because Jesus rebelled, according to John 5:16 and Mark 3:1 through 6. Jesus made public proclamations and tried to change social sentiment through talks, teachings, and speeches because he was indeed a protester, according to Matthew 5 through 7. Jesus openly rebuked. He held accountable, challenged, and called out people who refused to change from their misguided ways because he was a protester, according to Matthew 11, 20 through 30. Jesus empathized and he advocated for the oppressed, the hurt, the abused, the downtrodden, the abandoned, the alienated, and the victimized. Why? Because he was a protester, according to Luke chapter 7. You're going to always find somebody who's going to protest. And they're going to be treated just like Jesus was. They're going to be ostracized. People are going to want them to be quiet, to shut up, to go home, to close camp, to not write, to not give another speech, because protesting scares us. But Jesus was not afraid. Jesus was viciously challenged, mocked and scrutinized, threatened, slandered, ridiculed, discredited by authorities and leaders because Jesus was a protester. According to Luke chapter 11, according to Matthew 9:34, and according to Matthew 13:56 through 58. On every account, Jesus did not mind standing by himself. He was indeed a protester. Rachel Cornett is here. She says, good morning. I'm able to be on call this morning. I'm happy to be present. So glad to have you here, sister. Dana Christie Brooks says, good morning, Sister Joie and my beautiful sisters. It's marvelous, magical Monday. Yes, it is. And Brenda Carnell says, good morning from California. Praise God for this beautiful day. And Brenda, we're praising God for you. Jesus was accused by the experts of being disruptive and evil because he was a protester, according to Matthew chapter 9, verses 2 through 8. And Jesus stands alone before a mob that's ready to kill a woman, and he intervenes on her behalf, saving her life. Why? Because Jesus, he was a protester. Jesus he created, he inspired, and he sent out other protesters. Have you ever had to protest? I mean, I'm not talking about with a picket sign. I'm just talking about standing up for something that nobody else believes in. Yeah. I'm talking about when people try to put you in a box and say that you shouldn't feel a certain way and think a certain thing, and you find yourself standing sometimes all by yourself. Have you ever had to protest? Protest in your family. Protest at your church. Protest at your job. Carolyn J. Walker says, good morning, everyone. Jesus devoted his life to speaking, helping, supporting, defending, empowering, healing, freeing, and loving everyone, especially saving those who were in desperate need for the hands of the oppressors, the rulers, the officials, the mobs, and those who intended to harm, kill, and destroy, because Jesus was a protester. He went after the underdog. He went after the person that everybody else wanted to stone. Remember when the men caught the woman in adultery and they wanted to stone her? In so many words, Jesus told them, you put your rocks down and go home. He is who is without sin. Cast the first stone. Remember when Jesus met the woman at the well? He knew all about her before he asked her, but she proved that she was honest. She said, Lord, Jesus said, you've had 5 husbands, and the man you're with is not even yours. But Jesus spoke life into her that day. He spoke life into her that day, and he protested on her behalf. I'm sure there were some other women around watching saying, what is Jesus doing talking to that sinner? Yeah, he was there speaking life into her. Yeah, he didn't show her that he wasn't graceful. In fact, he was a grace giver. He was not a lawgiver. Yeah, Jesus gave her grace and he gave her mercy. So much that she went running through the city telling everybody about a man who knew all about her. Have you ever had to protest for somebody or for something? Throughout his life, Jesus protested and brought awareness about gender inequality, religious hypocrisy, political corruption, racism, hate, segregation, empowerment, and social justice. Christ humbly sacrificed and he served to advocate for the outcast, to protect the poor, to give shelter to the homeless, to uplift the exploited, to show hospitality to strangers, to energize the weary, and to love humanity. That is the God whom I served. My cousin Miriam Chasen Glover says, good morning, my beautiful cousin. Love you, and I love you back. I love you back. Miriam indeed is a woman of God, a very beautiful person. Jesus was mocked, ridiculed, and abused because he tried to help folk that nobody else would help. He spoke up for folk that nobody else would speak up for. So today, whatever the issue is, if you find yourself having to protest, if you find yourself having to speak up, it doesn't have to be on a picketing line. Yeah, it doesn't. You can speak up quietly for somebody. You can just come alongside them and be with them when nobody else will. Stephanie Singh says, good morning, early morning flight. I'm at the airport in Dallas waiting to board. Prayers for safe passage. Please, Stephanie, we are praying for you. We are praying for your safe journey. We will follow Christ sometimes only if the masses are following him. We will follow people sometimes only if the masses are following them. But when you have to follow somebody by yourself, when you have to stand up for them by yourself, when you have to protest and advocate for them by yourself, let me tell you something. You are doing God's will, because that is what God done. Christianity is not political power, military might. It's not safety or wealth or control or fame or comfort. It's emulating Christ. After Jesus departed and the disciples started their various ministries, founding the church as we know it today, most of the earliest believers were ruthlessly hunted down. They were arrested, persecuted, and horrifically killed for following Jesus, defending the gospel for the sake of humanity. People loved and created in the image of God was the reason Jesus protested. And I want to ask you today, are you willing to protest for somebody? To stand up for somebody that nobody else will stand for? Because oftentimes as church folk, we tend to live by the law. If people don't do it like we do it, if they don't talk like we talk, or walk like we talk, or walk like we walk, or go where we go, it's something wrong with them. But Jesus says that's not how you bring other people to me. You bring other people to me by grace. The same way that I saved you is the same way that I can save them. Listen, if God be for you, who can be against you? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I want you to stop being selective about who you like, who you don't like, who you're going to talk to, who you're not going to talk to. God ain't in that. God ain't in that. No, he's not. You're on an assignment today. And I want you to find somebody to stand up for. I want you to find somebody who you can protest for. If nobody has told you that they love you, let me tell you, I love you, sis, and there ain't a thing you can do about it. Not one thing. You are somebody. If nobody has told you that, you are somebody. You are not stuck. You've just decided to stop moving. You are not depressed. I'm not going to claim that over your life. You're just uninspired. Yeah. I want you to know this morning that God knows. He knows how to turn the tables, and he knows how to flip the tables. You don't have to try to get even with nobody. God knows how to handle those who've mishandled you. He knows how to handle those who've mishandled you. Stephanie says, I'm on an assignment. Listen, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got places to go, people to see, things to do. I know you do too. I know you do too. I want you to protest. Yeah. I want you to protest this morning, and I want you to do it in a godly fashion. Yeah. Godly fashion. Just stand up for somebody. If you stand up for somebody, you'll be protesting. Yeah. Stand up for what you believe in. You'll be protesting. I want to thank you for joining me this marvelous Monday morning. Yeah, don't let anybody mess up your day. Nobody mess up your day. Miriam says, be safe and have a great day. I will. You do too, cousin. I love you. Meet me back here tomorrow. on a terrific, thankful Tuesday. We want to thank God tomorrow. Meet me back here. I look forward to seeing you. Take care. God bless. And remember, go protest for somebody.